What's up, guys? It is Brandon here again for another video. This is a different kind of video, you might say, just because I'm having a little walk in a park. I just discovered this construction site. Luckily I came from work, so although it doesn't look like they're doing a whole lot of construction painting here, they do have concrete. But concrete legit is normally only like probably $4 for a bag, similar to that at Menards, but that might be some special high strength concrete because we got this bridge going on. But anyway, so yeah, I got off work today. I've been assigned by my life coach. He told me that I need to work on rest. Work on, you know, he says he read some book somewhere, sometime, that said, most likely, something like that people who are successful or masters of their craft or something like that, basically the people you want to be. You always want to be the best, right? Well, somebody's got to be the worst. Who's the best at that? Anyway. I'm great at speaking around a topic and not getting to the point, aren't I? That was another example. So, with work, rest, balance. Oh, nice echo. I mean, just look at this. This is kind of a cool place. Wow, that's quite an echo. Huh. Well, anyway, so what about work, rest, play, balance? What about incorporating all these things to become more successful? Which is basically, what do you think you want and you assume it's going to make things better? Which we've got an actual lesson here written, not in stone, but on, not quite stone, written on concrete. And I'm going to use it to illustrate some of my points here. Just because it's one of the 3 characteristics, you know. Brandon Rowe can't let that one slide. So work, rest, play, balance. Let's use today as an example. So today, I woke up at 5 a.m., right? And, you know, I did my normal stuff. Okay, here's the example. One of the 3 characteristics. Nothing lasts forever, which I think they technically want an S there. So maybe I could come spray paint that in for them. But nothing lasts forever. If you want to say that in Pali, the language of the Buddha, insofar as he preferred to teach, because I believe the Buddha probably knew some Sanskrit, but it was like more of the, as far as I know, in India at that time where he lived, in the specific place of India, which I don't know, maybe it's somewhere around Anathapindika's Park in Jedda's Grove, something or other. You know, if you're real if you got that reference. But anicca, I believe it's the first of the 3 characteristics, if there's even an order. The second is dukkha, you know, suffering. Shit sucks, bro. Inherently, until you realize it doesn't, and that's the whole job. It's the whole path. You know, you can't get that paper to fold 8 times, but you can sit through a joke that Brandon Rowe made and not get that it was even a joke. Yeah, paper folds 7 times, I believe, is the max, right? But either way, you can't fold it 8 times, as far as I know. Well, the Noble Eightfold Path is, you know, a Buddhist teaching. And yeah, so we'll get back. The 3 characteristics, guys. Old graffiti. We'll get it. Make way for the new. Anicca. Yeah, screw this old paint. So that is, there's anicca, or rather impermanence, things change. And that's one of the reasons why supposedly things suck, because you get something, you can have this goal-directed dopaminergic activity as a human being where you're like, I want money, I want bitches, I want whatever you might say. Whatever people want in this world right now. A round butt, money, fame, success. They want the favor of God. They want to be enlightened even. They want to reach nibbana, another Pali word, which I was getting to this earlier. Pali, as far as I know, I don't know if anyone really speaks Pali much in the world. I don't know if spoken Pali is still like a upheld, accurate tradition. Maybe I should start, maybe that should be my first language I learned fairly well. I did, I think 3 years or something. I did Spanish all throughout the normal high school thing. That I was in one honor society, I guess, in my high school career, and it was the Spanish National Honor Society. And I don't even think I was that good at Spanish, but somehow the bar is that low. Yeah, so getting back to Pali. So there's first characteristic, anicca, things don't last forever. Nothing lasts, not lasts, but last, right? Like the graffiti. Nothing lasts forever. 2, dukkha. However you properly pronounce that in a potentially entirely dead language as far as spoken accuracy goes. I don't know. It might have been maintained. Buddhism for quite a while was, an oral tradition. But yeah, it'd be cool to speak Pali. I guess I am right now, a little bit. And finally, the finale, the grand finale that nobody was waiting for. Or maybe like the one weird person still watching this. Or 2, Consider yourself lucky. Or cursed, I don't know. Whatever you think. So, the third, the trifecta finishing portion of these characteristics, or these 3 marks of existence, as Daniel Ingram might say, or might write. I guess I haven't heard him say that, or maybe I have. Last but not least is anatta, which is more or less a Pali version of saying anatman, the Atman, the big personalized self thing in Hinduism, which according to Ken Wheeler is, or Theoria, Apophasis. I don't know that if I got that pronunciation right on that. It's the last word there, but Ken Wheeler, I believe is his name. I think he resides in Kentucky, allegedly, and has a hemp robe. That guy, who's supposedly a Pali translator, which is pretty cool. It's worth reading his free PDFs. Pretty smart cookie, that man is. But, so yeah, the last one, anatta, like non-self. Or maybe you might even say sort of the principle of non-substantiality of the self. Now, Ken Wheeler argues that Buddhism doesn't differ from Hinduism, which, that was the thing. That's kind of what made me think of Wheeler here, is he doesn't like the phrase Hinduism, and he certainly doesn't like the word meditation. Why? Well, Hinduism, it's way too general, and I don't know. I think he's got a point. Like, there are so many different sects of Hinduism that it's hard to call it one religion, you could say. And I guess, you could argue the same maybe for Christianity, but I don't know. I feel like for some reason or another, he speaks, usually that I've seen, as if Hinduism is even more dispersed in meaning and practice than Christianity is amongst its various, little sects. The Catholics, the Mormons, so there's always the debate too between Christian groups to say, like, who's Christian and who's not Christian. And of course, there's only one correct answer, and it's, I don't know who it is. There's probably not one correct answer, and that's the correct answer, which isn't an answer, which is why it works as a non-answer. But it didn't answer anything. Oh, Brandon and his nonsense. This is a cool washed out rock bed. Have you seen this? You probably have never seen this. Actually, I feel like no one viewing this video right now has ever seen this washed out, I'm assuming, little creek bed thing. Which, I mean, this is just me guessing. I wouldn't necessarily claim to be a woodsman, although I think I was, is it second class in the Boy Scouts? I think I was above, what is it, tenderfoot? Is that the first one? Anyway, so yeah, we've got nature here. That's one thing this video has, is nature. So the good thing is you can mute this video and listen to music on a second device, or if you're on a computer or device where it's capable, you can mute me and play music through the same device. You can just watch this this nature. So yeah, non-substantiality of self. I feel like proof and evidence of the non-substantiality of self is how many different states of mind and trains of thought I've managed to spew throughout this entire video. Yeah, this is Indiana, home of the Miami, they say, Native American tribe. I guess it's a cool place, according to some. It's really common, of course, for people to kind of dog on their hometown. They say, man, my hometown or the place I grew up, it sucks, it's boring, I gotta move out. And I'll be honest, I'm speaking from the biased perspective of, I spent a little bit of time away from this general area in Indiana, but most of my life has stayed here as far as, where I've lived. I've been to, a handful of countries in Europe and Asia and, different seas and oceans. But, I've lived my life here. And I'll say it, I think, I'm probably going to, Las Vegas, Nevada, and maybe some areas around that on vacation soon is the plan. And what I'm thinking about that is I'm probably going to go there, and whenever you go to some place that's very different geographically, you can be really blown away by how different things are. But at the same time, you can also, if you get kind of tired of being there, the difference, and you want some of the same again, you can most likely just end up reminiscing and missing your hometown or where you grew up. I used to do that. I used to be in cross country and track, running literally on this exact path in this exact park. Doing what those I guess now that I'm 29, them youngins are doing. And yeah, so it's easy to dog on your hometown. Work, rest, play. I'd say I've been playing since I started this video. This has been fun. Why has it been fun? Because I'm doing what I want to do. And I'm not doing it for views. Although, if that were true, you know, I probably wouldn't be posting it and checking my analytics, which I certainly do. And due to that, I know that over 15% of you guys are, or sorry, rather, less than 15% of you guys are subscribed. And that means over 85% of you guys are not subscribed. Although that number's partially off because I said guys, and although that can in a way be a gender neutral term, you know, I'm referring to the human beings watching this video, or I guess if you're trans species, you know, I'm just referring to you. And of course, we went over the anatta thing, non-substantiality of the self, right? There's no you. We didn't even get into the non-substantiality of the jiva, which, you know, it's kind of funny. How can you have a word for something that there is not? Like, if there is no jiva, if there's no, like, personality, storyline, temporary version of yourself, how can you know that that it's even a thing? How can you mention that something doesn't exist at all and still have a term for it? I guess that gets into the name of the YouTube channel of Ken Wheeler, that Theoria Apophasis, if I'm saying that right. Apophatic, I think that's correct. Apophasis. We'll see, one day we might get that right. You know, as far as I know, what an apophatic, something like that, right? Not used to using that word. That is basically speaking about a philosophy that is expressing the existence of something through the negation of something else. So we're kind of pointing, like, with this anatta thing, Wheeler actually argues and, you know, provides his own version of evidence for the notion that anatta in Buddhism is pointing to the fact that as an adjective, anatta is used. It is used to say that my hair is not me. My teeth are not me. My mind is not me. My consciousness is not me. That's the idea, right? So, you know, you can go through the 5 aggregates of form, rupa, consciousness, perception, form, consciousness, perception. Is that right? Those 3 of them. You know, it's been a long day. Like I said, I woke up at 5 a.m. before I even got into the ability to share that train of thought. Been on a lot of trains. The crazy train today. We've got 3 out of 5, I believe. Let's pause here. Take a deep breath. Woosah. So, the 5 aggregates, the 5 heaps of phenomena, you might say. There's form, you know. You kind of know what form is, like more or less physicality. And there's perception. There's consciousness. There's Vedana, feeling. Which, by the way, consciousness is Vijnana. Vijnana, I believe, is somewhat around the right pronunciation of that Pali word. I forget perception. It evades me at the moment. But yeah, so we got consciousness, form, perception, Vedana, feeling. What is the fifth one? That's a great question. So let's pause here. Let's let our brain work at getting this answer that I don't need. I really don't need it right now, but I want it. So let's get it. Form. Rupa, consciousness, Vijnana, Vedana. I feel like mind has to, or thought. Formations, yeah, the most amorphous, so to speak, of them all, I think. Formations. That literally, I think, what just came and provided that answer to you. Formations. You know, the fifth one I just managed to remember in just the order of my remembrance, not any particular order. Formations. So, yeah, that's more or less mental activity, but I guess it goes a lot deeper than just mental activity or thought, or, you know, there's discursive thought, there's other kinds of thoughts, there's the thoughts that you see on Instagram, whatever, you know. So there are formations, but you know, the whole lesson is that those keeps are anatta, they're not myself. And the self here is meant to speak of the Atman, which is like kind of your big S, capital S self, right? Your absolute kind of individual, absolute expression, more or less, thing. And yeah, so it's saying that, you know, your Atman is not temporary stuff that changes and that sucks in one way or